Hey, collective, it's Brandon Curtis at Entpgathering, Science and Spirituality meeting with a psychic investigation. The channeled message statement that I received that this reading will be based on is, I am my own twin flame. The channeled song is Cool for the Summer by Demi Lovato. Don't be scared because I'm your body type, just something that we want to try because you and I, we're cool for the summer. Immediately I'm picking up, along with the channeled statement, that collective, chosen ones, light workers, empaths, there's a very narcissistic energy that has been in your past. You could currently be connected to or trying to break away from this person or persons. Some of you have more than one of this type of energetic bind to you or cord of attachment. I'm hearing because of previous sexual encounters with this individual or this person or these people are literally narcissist, psychotic, and one of them bipolar, and one of them, is schizophrenic. Schizophrenia largely occurs in males, and the onset of schizophrenia happens somewhere in the mid-20s. I hope you're all doing well, and thank you, subscribers, new subscribers. My channel is growing. Also, welcome back to old subscribers. And thank you for a lot of the messages I received and connections made in my last reading, especially. Oh, goodness. I put a question out to you all to resolve this conundrum I had from the Marchetti deck, where it was discovered through Jesse. I can't remember your full name or your channel. I'll hope to link you in this reading so that my subscribers can go check out your readings. I did check out one of your readings today, and it was on point. I really enjoyed it. Anyway, Jessie, she answered the question for me from the last reading, which was why in this particular deck of the all the symbols that represent the celestial bodies, is there one on the Seven of Pentacles that is different from all the other ones, and it looks very similar to that of Saturn. And Jesse did a deep dive and did find out that it was indeed representing Saturn. I'm going to take that information, Jesse. Thank you for it, and research further why that creator of the deck, Lee Brewer. First name Lee, I can't remember her last name, or maybe it's a he, why they placed that particular symbol of Saturn on the Seven of Pentacles. Coincidentally, I have Saturn in my first house, and I'm a Taurus. So, let's get into the reading. So that was the channeled statement. I am my own twin flame. So I... picking up the energies of the people, chosen ones, earth angels, who have attached to you or trying to come back into your life if you've severed that cord of attachment. Also, along with the statement, I am my own twin flame, that is not to say that the whole twin flame journey is false or misrepresented. To be honest with you, I find it a bit confusing, but I think that's because of my experience with false twin flames and people who become obsessed with me. And I'm hoping that many of you chosen ones can also relate to this. And through the messages that come through, maybe help clarify for you your particular relationship to the twin flame journey. I'm also going to include soulmates and karmics in this reading. So, without further ado, let's call on Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Uriel, and Archangel Raphael to help ground the collective, the earth angels, the chosen ones, the empaths, who have dealt with karmics, false twin flames, and who are on their twin flame journey. I'm going to use this deck and find out what energies, and I'm hearing karmic energies. The channeled song is Slack by Tycho. It's instrumental, so there are no lyrics. I want to tap in and find out what energies, angels, and Archangel Michael, please protect the accuracy of this reading. What energies are the collective dealing with? Who's in their energy? Okay, that's enough. All right. First out, we have the 11th house, so Aquarius, and I'm just hearing friends and or community. So that's not a specific person with a specific sign or energy. This is about, wow, gosh. Then we have the sign of Aquarius. All right, so this is for humanity's sake, your hopes and wishes, do it for the future. Freedom, associations, your circle of friends. Genius to experiment with the discoveries of resulting from the eccentricity of and your vision, what's new and different about you, use an unconventional way. And so what I'm picking up is many of you, in my last reading I talked about transitioning from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. Many earth angels, star seeds and the like, light workers, we have this Aquarius energy within us somewhere in our chart. For example, mine is in my North Node. And also, depending on the system used, my Venus is in my 11th house. Like for... Yeah. So it makes sense for me that and a lot of my enemies and manipulators and past life karmic souls have been Aquariuses. All right, what else? Pluto. So Scorpio's in the house. Along with Venus and Cherish. So we didn't get many signs, but for Aquarius. Pluto, the need for control of, an obsession with, a power struggle. So I'm on the money here. Aquarius, Scorpio, and then what follows is Venus. That's that's Libra and Taurus. Venusian energy. All right. Okay, I've been called to pull some more. Maybe we can get some signs other than Aquarius. Hope you're all doing well. Thank you so much for liking and commenting in the last reading. It's really great to get to know you. And I put a call out for any of the souls out there who are masculine presenting, but consider themselves divine feminines, and I met one, and I'm following your channel, and I checked out your reading. Got Neptune, so we got Pisces as signs, Aquarius, Scorpio, and Pisces. And this Uranus, so more Aquarius. So this isn't our parade by Santa Gold. This time I'll comfort. I saw you standing, and I'm by your cage. I think you should wait now. Interesting, because the toxic Aquariuses in my life literally had me in a trap house. Or I ended up renting space in a home. The matriarch of which was an Aquarius sun with a Libra husband. All right, I'm going to take these two. Fourth house, Cancer. I wanted to put Cancer added to Pisces and Scorpio, water signs. I think we're dealing with water signs and Gemini and seventh house. So, friends and relationships are at play here, considering the channeled statement or message that I am my own twin flame. I'm picking up, collective, that if, like me, if you were confused, or maybe even if you weren't, or questioning who is a true twin flame, maybe even pining for that connection, it's coming. If you are really meant to be with your twin flame, which, as I understand, you won't make me back down, and I can hear you calling. No, you won't understand, but I'm near you now. I can hear you fallen, and I say, hey, 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 won't you come down? Won't you come down? Yeah, this energetic pull on you as you ascend is at play with these karmic soul ties, with these false twin flames. And even, I was about to say, even your twin flame may be, they're not going to be a romantic twin flame. I'm hearing the divine sends them your way so they can activate you and to also help you learn what is your energy and what is not your energy. The divine may have sent more than one energy to activate you, meaning you're very magnetic, right? Your Venusian energy and Uranus energy in particular, a very, I was about to say mysterious planet. It's just very magnetic and has lots of energy that we don't quite understand. Uranus has rings, but unlike Saturn, whose orbit is on the horizontal plane, Uranus is in this plane. So already we have something very unique, eccentric, a celestial body in our solar system that is very unlike all of the other celestial bodies. So that's why I'm picking up with you, Comeback Kid by Sharon Van Etten. Hey, you're the comeback kid, see me look away, I'm the runaway, I'm the stay out late, I'm recovering kid at the top of our street. I was someone like him, I was somebody. This is a calling from these twin flames or false twin flames, from these karmic past life soul ties out to you, out to the collective. And so the divine will send all of these confusing energies and souls who have lessons to learn themselves. The divine gives us free will. So, for example, in a false twin flame or a twin flame connection with you who you know isn't going to be romantic, like everybody has free will, even our twin flame. So that's another message. And I believe is most likely my situation, that whether they're the true twin flame or I've had so many people that it was confusing. But again, as I ascended and I'm getting to know my own energy and my own power, I'm able to at least categorize certain of those relationships to better understand them and know which ones to drop and walk away from. The very first, here, let me pull the cards and then I'll get into this story. Tower in reverse. Come on. The height of this chair relative to the table is not two of swords in reverse. Oh my gosh. Okay. Ace of swords. All right. Page of swords in reverse. Oh wow. Okay. It's a lot of cards, but this will be good. You know, it's a complicated situation, and there will probably be different narratives or timelines for you, collective. All right, first card out was the Tower in reverse, Mars energy. Action, masculine fire energy. The less I know, the better, Tame Impala. Okay, the message here is sometimes someone said they left together. I ran out the door to get her. She was holding hands with Trevor. Not the greatest feeling ever. Sometimes it's although it feels nearly impossible, you really got to turn your back to that relationship. And the less that you know, the better. If that person is going to be in your life again, the divine will bring them back because everybody has free will. I'm also hearing that in those situationships where you did feel that strong connection, there was that activation between the two of you. Everybody has free will. If they chose not to, it's best to just leave it at that and move on. If they're meant to be, they're meant to be. I'm also hearing, if you love someone, let them go, or however that goes. This also breaks that cord. The more you can put your energy into moving towards on your own path, traveling along your timeline that no longer includes them, the better you are. Ace of Swords out on the table. We have the Page of Swords in reverse. Second card out, I think, was the Two of Swords, which is my schizophrenia card. The Tower in reverse is Dark Night of the Soul activation. Also, it's a warning of disaster or the divine coming in and completely wiping out or breaking that cord of attachment to these karmic energies. And that person is experiencing it for the first time and they're really, really feeling it. And or they are stuck in that state because Archangel Michael needs to bust their ass. Oh, and in this case, it's a Five of Cups in reverse. So definitely Scorpio energy. In my last reading, I mentioned a lot of his chosen ones earth angels, light workers are dealing with water energy because we are exiting the age of Pisces. And a lot of information about the age of Pisces, in particular the sole purpose and even the magic, the power, the darker energies of the soul contracts that we have are meant to teach us a lesson, to activate us so that we can grow stronger. We can learn to cut those cords of attachment on our own with, of course, our angels, our ancestors, our spirit guides' assistance. For you, collective, oh, and this is right underneath power. Pluto, this card. So the Tower in reverse with the Two of Swords in reverse on top, love Kevin Parker, Tame Impala, is underneath the need for control, an obsession with, a power struggle, Pluto. Also, resurrect, to get to the heart of do or die, you must. Yeah, the Tower in reverse, Not on Drugs by Tove Lo. Higher fire, fly my rocket through the universe. I'm up with the kites in a dream so blue. I live in the sky, you can live here too. Yeah, as Earth Angels and Chosen Ones, sometimes our twin flame is very much, and no matter what you believe in, if we share a soul or we have one single soul or whatever that whole thing is, often they're mirror opposites, right? It's the empath narcissist paradigm, two sides of the same coin, I firmly believe. So but everybody has free will. Had that person, that twin flame, who's now a false twin flame or a karmic twin flame, if that exists, let's just say karmic, doesn't choose to listen to the divine, they become dark, and then they exist and build after being activated with you two coming together. They exist and build that dark energy, so they literally become the reverse image of you, chosen ones, earth angels, and empaths. Follow me? I hope that makes sense. This is the case right now that I'm channeling. Those of you who have had a twin flame become a karmic because they chose not to deal with their own healing and their own emotions and remain stuck. This is scorpionic energy. Scorpionic energy is like those individuals being able to sit at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. It's black, it's cold, and all the weight of the world's oceans are pressing down on them, and they're fine there. They love living in the dark, they love living in the cold, and they can breathe and exist in that energy. The problem being, well, not for them, but for twin flame union, is they never surface for air, Aquarius energy. They never fill their lungs while they're down there with actual air, which would make them buoyant so that they can rise to the top, and then, as they rise through this black, cold water, rays of light, they begin to see and feel. And then, because that water is no longer as pressurized or heavy, it's no longer as black or cold, the water is much easier to displace. So their lungs can fill with more air, Aquarius energy again, Libra energy, Venusian energy, and then rise to the surface where they actually see life, right? Living and other living energies. Dark scorpionic Plutonian Tower in reverse and schizophrenia is much about somebody who's made the choice to throw away this life and then move over to the dark side. So that's what we got, collective. This person could, for some of you, this is in reverse, is absolutely obsessed. And even though you have broken away from them and are moving on, it's turned their world, which consisted 100% of learning and watching every move you make. I'll mention my person. This is my person. I first heard about this blonde, and it's a female. I was first warned about them 25 years ago. So what? So let's say I was that. So 20 years ago, roughly, give or take 1 or 2 years. It was just after my first Saturn return. I'm in New York City. I'm a working actor, and I'm walking in Chelsea, and something compelled me to visit a medium, a psychic, in her apartment slash basement shop. I meet with her. She only works by donation. I may have given her my first name. I don't think I gave her my last name. And she blew my. Okay, she's the one that made me aware that my mother had me in a unwed mother's home in Los Angeles, called Booth Memorial Hospital. And it was an unwed mother's home, or a home for fallen women. Because know this, those of you who are of a certain age and may have been adopted or in foster care for a while, adoptions in this country from post-World War II into the 70s and 80s were a for-profit business. And I believe, because this was in Los Angeles, the City of Angels, in a Salvation Army hospital turned unwed mother's home, that there's a lot of dark energy. The founders of these homes and the people operating them, not all of them, but there's a thread of Piscean energy, of dark, Plutonian, just nasty, devilish energy that would, I believe that whole business has evolved as we're nearing the end of the age of Pisces into human trafficking, into sex trafficking, into a CP and SA. And no surprise that Six Underground by Sneaker Pimps, the previous channel song was Losing You by Solange. All right. I say it's a for-profit business because in many hospitals for unwed mothers or fallen women, names like that and terms like that were meant to demoralize the young woman, because having an illegitimate child back then was a big no-no. So they were at once supported by these hospitals and these services, where my mother didn't have to pay for anything, but it was contingent that she leave me there for 3 weeks. And then her mother, a Scorpio, my mother's a Scorpio as well, check out the last reading for my story, my grandmother, being a Scorpio Sun, Virgo Moon, great manifester, and also a big Spitfire. She died when I was like 7 or 8. My grandmother tried to pass my mother off as the daughter of my grandmother's first husband. So my mother was illegitimate. And my grandmother ended up having 3 daughters, 3 different fathers. Well, my mother, subconsciously, or maybe it was a family business, who knows? Connected to a cultish, like, in this case, it probably would have been like a spin-off of the Aryan Brotherhood, if I'm picking that up. For some of you, that's very true. I do find that this fascination of where I grew up in Southern California, and in particular Bakersfield, California, in a suburb of Bakersfield, there's a high school called North High that my mother went to. And when I graduated from West High, 18 years after my mother was at North High, and North High was comprised of mostly white people, middle class families to what we would call rednecks or white trash. I know that's a pejorative. Anyway, that's the terms that I heard growing up. Even when I graduated from West High, which was integrated, think the divine, the women, the young girls from North High were famous for dating black men or men of color from South High, from West High, from all the other high schools. So I feel that in that particular part of the world, which I understand has been hit by the flooding, and it has always been about 20 years behind the rest of of California. It's where like meth kind of came from the Central Valley of California, and there's also a lot of CP related to the founders of the Bakersfield Californian with the last name Fritz, and that just so happens to be the last name of my half brother's. That's his last name, Fritts, and it's the name that I went by until I learned that I was not Fritz. And I learned of my own father, my mother, stepping out and getting impregnated by a black man who was a very good pitcher in the minor leagues, and his father played in the Negro Leagues, and his brother ended up playing for the Pittsburgh Pirates for 7 or 8 years professionally. Anyway, come from a long line of black. Demery is French Creole, and I'm mostly Nigerian, with some Kenyan and Benin and Togo and Senegalese. Is that how you'd say it? Long story short, I think there's a vein of racism that actually encourages, and I'm speaking of white families that are associated in this Aryan Brotherhood that I speak of, that is, California, Oregon, Idaho, most certainly, and Washington State. It's Portland is incredibly racist. Even parts of Seattle, just the West Coast. There is a thread of racism that I think had either generated from the South, maybe being pushed to the Wild West, to kind of hide in the backwoods of these places, and then start making money through drug trades and working with and in CP distribution and production, as well as drug trafficking and drug manufacturing. So, my grandmother forced my mother to come get me because my grandmother, a Scorpio Sun, Virgo Moon, knew astrology, and my chart is off the hook. So she knew that there was something special, or I think it was the plan of my mother to basically get impregnated by, very high quality African DNA to have me. Anyway, so I go into see this medium, and she tells me that when I was first born, this was like, I'm like 31, 32. When I was first born, I was surrounded by a bunch of children, and I had to stop her at that point by saying, no, I was the first grandchild, the firstborn. And she goes, no, you're surrounded by a bunch of children, and everything else that she had said up to then and then after was on point. Hyper real by Flume. Yeah, it was like this hyper real bit of information that I received that I a couple years later confirmed through my mother, because my mother kept this whole scenario from me that my father was black. She never communicated any of that, being a Scorpio and being deeply resentful that her mother forced her to get me. Maybe it was a money-making thing on my mother's part, that she was planning on leaving me to be adopted and might get some money out of the situation. I later confirmed this, and that was just one of the things that I didn't know about my own origins that came through. So, after that first experience with a psychic medium and channeler, and that message starting this research into my origins, I had met my father because through an argument that my mom was having with this pedophile that we're living with in Oregon for about 5 years, who was essentially like a stepdad, I found out that my father was black. So from that point on, I was ever curious about finding him, if he was still alive, and knowing more about my family, and which I did. So at 18, I changed my name to my actual given name, which was Demery. And I'd say 3 years later, I'm working in this optometrist's office, and in walks a black woman, lighter skin, but still obviously black woman with the last name Demery. And after 2 weeks, I worked up enough nerve to pinch her file and give her a call, which might have broken HIPAA laws. And called her and introduced myself in that phone conversation, and there was like this silence, and then I heard a little like giggle or felt it, and she said, I'm not surprised that a long lost child of Art Demery is calling. She happened to be married to one of my cousins. Anyway, long story short, I ended up meeting my dad twice, my uncle, of course. I have a half-brother. I met a 96-year-old great aunt of mine, which was awesome. Anyway, so that was the first experience with a psychic medium, where I got a bunch of information. And the next most important message I received was about, it was a warning. This was maybe 6 months, 3 months before I moved to Alaska. And I was planning on moving to Alaska just for the summer to get out of New York City. I've been living there close to 10 years. I was exhausted. I wanted out, and I just wanted to get out in nature. I am a triple Taurus, after all. So I sit down, and I can't remember if she had cards or not, or she was just channeling. But from this one particular one, the very last one in New York, she just kept repeating the star, which I now know to be the star card, and what that relates to. But at the time I thought, oh, the storyline that I'm getting is that I'm going to move away. I'm going to get out of New York, rest up, and then come back. And in my future is this big movie career that I'm going to blow up and be a star, either on Broadway or regional theater, or I would come back to the business. She kept repeating that, and she didn't give me any explanation on what the star card meant. But or she didn't even say star card. It was just like, I'm just hearing the star, or star. So the other message was, she goes, you're gonna be traveling soon, and you will move somewhere in the next 6 months, and you will change businesses. You'll do business up there, and then she didn't specify. She goes, you'll come back, but you're going to be up there for a while, and you won't be doing what you're doing right now. It'll be something completely different. You'll come back, and the means will be through 2 contracts you have with 2 masculine figures, one of whom you've never met before, and one that you know of. I immediately thought of the manager that I was working with at the time. Or no, I had dumped. I was no longer working with him. He's mentioned in the last reading. And then she said, be wary, or no, she said, but you need to watch a blonde woman. And that's all she could say. That's all that was coming out. A blonde woman. Just as like, and I could sense that there was something kind of dangerous about this, because it was a warning, right? And I said, can you tell me more? She goes, just watch her. Lo and behold, it's this mentally disturbed blonde woman who is a Pisces sun, who lived in Alaska, who became obsessed with me. She and her partner wanted me to basically give over my sperm so that they could have a baby. I believe that she and many other people in the community who were gang stalking me and manipulating me and put me, or I ended up in this this trap house run by this Aquarius, the second Aquarius. Alaska is a dark, dark place, and I'm not just talking about the fact that the days are very short during the winter. On the flip side of that, a lot of people don't talk about is that the days are much longer in the summer. It's amazing. I always enjoyed springtime and summer and even fall in Alaska, but that's because in sidereal I'm an Aries sun, Aries rising with a Taurus moon. Anyway, I always held all that information with me moving forward in life, and sure enough, this person is still stalking me, probably because she is literally mentally dark and mentally challenged at the least. Pisces Sun does identity theft and energy harvesting, deeply narcissistically wounded by her mother, can't have children because of the number of abortions she's had. She is just a fucked up person. And sure enough, it was she that I was warned about 20 years ago, that I'm still trying to shake. There's a decent chance that this person has continued to hire people to track me. She hired people to get in the way of any true sort of connection I had with people when I moved out of the place where she lived to a different part of Alaska. Sending friends of hers to sleep with people that I was, or a person that I was romantically or potentially romantically linked with, all because I think there's this in this person. She's literally probably psychotic, potentially schizophrenic, which would be rarer for a woman. But I think she hired a male to who's still pulling on my energy, who is strangely psychotic. I think he actually is. He's a double Scorpio with a Gemini rising. He is schizophrenic. Younger kid that activated me, and being a divine feminine, I almost feel like that this much younger male, who I wasn't interested in sexually, but I immediately understood and saw myself in this younger male being, getting into drugs, and in particular being overtly promiscuous at a young age. Something told me, I want to be this person's mentor, to move them away. It's the whole Isis Horus relationship. I think for me, that's the strongest connection I have with these now karmic soul ties. So I have, and this person also often confused me whether or not they were a true twin flame, because I do believe that they activated me. Yeah, it was hard to mistake for anything but that, because when we came into each other's presence and he started doing magic or whatever he was doing on me, I was literally hyperventilating one Thanksgiving where we spent part of the evening together. Yeah, it was just crazy energy that activated me for my spiritual awakening and my dark night of the soul. So, twin flames can be that, and I wonder if you collective, you can talk about this in the comments. I wonder if you've had this similar experiences where you thought it was a twin flame, or maybe it was, but you were never meant to be with that twin flame, and maybe they didn't even fit the traditional, I don't know if that's the correct word to use in defining twin flames, because how many of us actually know, what a true twin flame is or should be for you collective. So let's get going. My twin flame definitely, or ex twin flame, or karmic twin flame, or false twin flame definitely came through. So I hope my seemingly rambling story made sense and you can relate to it, because it is often a very confusing lesson I think the universe presents us with, so that we can learn what discernment truly is and how to practice it, and also learn what energy is ours and what isn't. Because this blonde bitch, crazy bitch, who's on meds and does drugs, is a racist, although she has dated in the past a black female, a Libra sun. They were both like tapping phones. They were hired by the state of Alaska and other entities, probably associated with Mexican drug cartels, because not only is there a vein of the Aryan Brotherhood that runs all the way up to Alaska. We know, I know through living there for 15, 16 years, that, the show Ozark, which I've never seen, but my spirit guides have been showing me that show for 1 or 2 years, however long it's been out. Because I'm a fan of Jason Bateman from his first appearance on Silver Spoons. I'm dating myself. And also the theory of relativity by Stars is on. Well, the only way I see this happening is an extended ride north, talking about Alaska. Set your mind on wide, fall apart before they get you, baby. Yeah, these gang stalking, demonic, narcissistic people in our lives collective are there to, now that you've grown so wise, use that head and stop to think a little. Exactly. They're lessons for us so that we can spot them in our future, because chosen ones, I'm not going to say that it's going to get worse, but in a way, you will be counseling people who are severing these contracts, these soul contracts, learning the same lessons. And that's why there's this wave of us who have awakened before a majority of our friends and family members and general public have, because we need to learn this process so that we can teach it and help them sever these ties. So we have Page of Swords in reverse. This means that either the gang stalking or the social media stalking has stopped or been halted, or I just heard that they've intensified their efforts. But because of the cards that are coming out so far, they're hitting okay, I came up with a name. Firewall, VPN. Like an SPN, rather than a virtual private network that you've set up, you have a SPN, a spiritual private network, meaning that your energy is no longer readable. And I think that's what the cards are saying. So trust that, if you do have these karmic, these false twins out there, and you've decided, like me, to be my own twin flame, that's a good choice. Not to say that a true twin flame isn't going to come in, but really owning and balancing out your masculine and feminine divine masculine and divine feminine within you is of the benefit. And if you haven't started that work, now would be a good time. Hopefully this message just kind of confirms what's been going on in your life, and then you can say, oh no, this is good. So we got King of Cups with the Four of Wands in reverse. Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. This is Four of Wands, yes, Aries energy. It's a leader in a community. It's a card of celebration. That obviously this King of Cups in your life can no longer celebrate. They can't step up and be the masculine in your home together because this home has been destroyed. It's been turned upside down, at least in the eyes of the King of Cups, because you have certainly walked away and or destroyed that home. I'm thinking of a channeled song from yesterday called Fire Meets Gasoline by Sia, and that video, directed by Heidi Klum, is about her literally setting fire, or maybe it's the both of them. No, maybe it was symbolic of this female walking away, divine feminine, from this very twin flamish, but false twin flamish relationship in the end, because she walks away throwing, or maybe both of them do. I'll have to rewatch that. Get away by Churches. I can barely see you when I close my eyes. There's nothing left of you here. We had the time. Things that we remember and do not regret. They don't mean a thing here. Yeah, this King of Cups is, as they're all up in their feels. They're trying to reconnect with this Page of Swords energy, but they're all in the Tower in reverse right now. Then we have the Death card with, wow. We have the Death card, Scorpionic energy. This is you, collective, on the white horse. You are the Knight of Death, putting a death to these toxic soul ties, these false twin flames and whatnot. Being this is the Angel of Death, because this is what, this is the karmic energies. They're the Hermit in reverse. Okay, I actually got this card today for myself, so I'm going to place it here in the middle where it is. This is two things. This represents you having to go deeper than you ever have before when entering and living in hermit mode. The Hermit card came out in the last reading or the reading before, and whenever it comes out, it's about becoming the hermit and gaining enlightenment, both on your outward situation, but also what's going on internally, because as above, so below, as within, so without. But in reverse, for you collective, chosen ones, earth angels, it means that you're going to have to get really personal about the research that you're uncovering. It's because you put a death to these karmic ties. Now the divine and because you've done the work, you're almost being rewarded with an opportunity to really focus on you the next time that you enter a hermit mode. And then we have the Strength card in reverse. And this is the Tower in reverse. This is this King of Cups with the Four of Wands in reverse. This is the Five of Cups in reverse with the Archangel Ace of Swords and the Page of Swords in reverse. This is the karmics. These are the false twin flames. These are the narcissists, the psychos, the schizophrenics, the really, really dark souls who have chosen the dark side, and they're fine with that. yet they continue to follow you as you move forward away from them, right? Let's do this. Wait. They're like, wait, come on. But you are literally the angel of death. This is fiery phoenix, but this is also representing the divine on Judgment Day. And I'll have to read up on the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. And that's a message for you to do as well. In fact, I plan on doing, I'm going to sit here with some cards, but I'm going to open up Book of Revelations and I'm going to read it from start to finish and put them into messages here on my channel. So if you'd like that and want to support that, give us a thumbs up on this reading, right? Or drop a comment. And we'll talk about it because I don't think I've read it all the way through. Anyway, these are these people that you have left behind, you have trampled, moving forward in your life into a hermit mode that is just going to be about you. Yeah, it's just going to be about you because there's great healing and there's a great amount of information from these toxic relationships that you can integrate into your own spiritual practice on the daily to, keep yourself protected from, like this blonde. It was prophesied. I was given this 20 years ago, this message that they are sick, and they probably won't give up until they unalive themselves or are thrown in prison. And they're so narcissistic and so broken that they probably would not choose to go to prison. They would choose unaliving. And a word on unaliving, and it's a message that I received, download I received, I don't know when, in the last couple of years, about unaliving. Apparently the soul of anyone who chooses to unalive themselves in this incarnation, which is an option, everybody has free will, and it's not like your soul is going to be thrown away. You're just going to have to come back and repeat those lessons. But for those who choose unaliving, what happens is you won't come back immediately. You'll go to a place where the way I saw it and it was described to me, it was like this place. Oh, have you ever seen the original Superman movie with Christopher Reeves? No, it was the second Superman movie where he battles the 3 darker aliens whom his father or his had imprisoned in this window pane of glass that was just like forever floating through the universe. It's like that, but it's like it's a state or a place where it's just blinding, the most intense white light, not fire, but just this. I don't know how to describe it other than that. It's the place, and it's meant to heal, but it's like a really long time. Something like I remember hearing like 50,000 Earth years, or so. You won't, if you unalive yourself, if you choose that in this incarnation, in this lifetime, that's where your soul goes for some cleansing, to rid you of the energy that you produce, the karma that you produce when you unalive yourself. And you would just further stall the return to this planet to learn the same lesson again. And I just heard because of the cycles of the planet, and because as a human race we are continually evolving, who's to say that I don't know. It's almost like I just heard that if that occurs, if you choose that, when you do come back after being in that stasis of that white, powerful light for 50,000 years, that when you come back, not only will you have to relearn the lesson that you chose not to incorporate into this life, you're going to be stripped of everything that you've accumulated so far. It's almost like your soul has been cleansed of every lesson and good karma that you have created. And you're going to start essentially at the very lowest spiritual level when you next incarnate, and you will. So not only are you throwing away the lessons of this life and have to come back and repeat it, you're throwing away all the lessons that you've learned leading up to this go around. I'm gonna keep these properly. All right, I'm gonna take these for, all right, yeah. Oh, okay. We've got the Seven of Cups in reverse and the Eight of Cups in the upright. So, yeah, yesterday, for some reason, I mistook this as a Nine of Cups in one segment. But we go from Seven of Cups in reverse, Venus in Scorpio, card of illusion, a card of choices. It appeared yesterday, and it was very much about just mental exhaustion and mental confusion surrounding choice in romance, choice in the path to take, but mostly, and I don't know if I said it this way yesterday, it was about magic. All the magic that these darker karmic energies, these false twin flames, and psychos that continue to haunt and gang stalk chosen ones and earth angels and light workers and empaths, they're essentially having to walk away, should they choose, and some of them are walking away from this. So they're now, in the upright, but this is a good message that some of you won't have to deal with some of these heavier scorpionic energies anymore, that they've switched, they've effectively resurfaced from being on the bottom of the ocean and are now in Piscean energy, which is mutable water. So their emotions are changing, they're unstuck, and they have been warned and or had the magic that they were sending you, earth angels, reversed back onto them, which, Spirit tells me, good on you for returning to sender. And I know none of you or all of you know this, but it's never, it's not an eye for an eye or tit for tat when we're talking about spiritual warfare. Never counter with the same type of magic because it's not coming from a pure place. For most of you, if not all of you, you know that to be true. So you do your candle magic, you light your incense, you do your smudging, you take your spiritual baths, you do your own spell work that a light worker does, that does not have anything to do with casting demons on other people, or doing black magic essentially. Your black magic is more like Eight of Cups, where you can shield yourself and defend yourself by walking away, which takes great strength. Here in red is the root chakra. It's like leaving all the fear and anxiety that the Seven of Cups and the scorpionic energy induces in the relationship, in the connection, and you can safely move away with strength, being while remaining grounded. It's like walking away from these energetic, dark cords of attachment. They are broken. This is good. We have, get some spiritual burps. We have Six of Cups, unconditional love. And then we have karmics, Cancerian energy, more water energy, in the reverse. Yesterday we saw this card, and it was you, collective, not accepting the fourth cup that was coming from that Seven of Cups. Magic energy. It was false. It was an illusion. And you knew this because you're a grounded Virgo, you're a grounded Taurus, you're a grounded Earth angel, and you're just focused on your own bag of or in this case, three cups, which is the card of celebrity, as it relates to not only the Hollywood star system, speaking of California, and human trafficking and SA and all the black magic that's done in Hollywood on true stars. Coming back to my original story of this blonde-headed dark witch, psychotic witch that I encountered in Alaska, but leaving essentially Hollywood. And this business manager, this Capricorn that I mentioned, Capricorn, Sun, Scorpio, Moon, I mentioned in the previous reading. This shit's real, y'all. And well, if the karmics are watching, they know it's real. They're just finally getting some enlightenment on how truly powerful us Earth angels are, because we practice unconditional love, not only with others and children. We don't abuse children. We are going to be parents to leaders into the age of Aquarius for our generational bloodlines. This is about unconditionally loving and teaching children without all the SA, without the CP and all that crap, without the narcissism that is pervasive. The aforementioned are pervasive in businesses like Hollywood, and politics, in adoption centers of old, where adoptions were for profit. This is all about, okay, I'm going to mention this, but I'm in no way, because as far as I'm concerned, most likely by blood, I'm so mixed race, but spiritually, I'm a Jew. There's this is even relating to like covens of witches and black magic and Satanists, preying on children, and their blood is real. Maybe, and it's also, it's figurative or it's a metaphor, because blood would represent energy. There is something youthful about children that darker magic, darker spirits are after, because it's what they subsist on. Epstein, Hollywood, the Roman Catholic Church, religion in general. So this is this is 6 is a number of the mind. So this is also my memory card. 4 is a number of manifestation. And it's very, I'm thinking 4 of Pentacles. It's very narcissistic in a way. I think this card is I'm picking up that the universe has cut these people off completely. There's no supply anymore. So the world is literally turned upside down here. Speaking of upside down, got the Hangman in reverse. We have the Sun. The Hangman is the story of Odin, who hung himself from the tree to gain enlightenment. Also, the very first pope, was depicted as the hanged man in the upright. This is because Judaism and the Holy Roman Catholic Church has stolen light magic, true light green witch magic from the Irish, the Scottish, the Welsh, and Norse mythology, effectively stealing it from the Aryan race, because the Aryan race comes from the Caucasus Mountains, which are just kind of north and east of what is now known as the Middle East. And this is why there are beautifully blue-eyed Middle Easterners and beautiful blue-eyed people from India, in India. Of course, the period before the age of Pisces was the age of Aries. Now, if Yeshua, and he was, the ascended master of the Piscean age, Mithras, or Zoroaster, the people of the age of Aries knew that to become one with Yahweh or God was to go inward. And their ascended master, their example, was a person or a practice known as, which developed into like the cult of Mithras. Now there was one that came out of Roman society that was somewhat related, but I'm talking about the ancestors of basically the creators of the religion of Islam were the Yeshuas of the Aryan age, or the age of Aries. I hope I'm making sense. So we go from Mithras into the age of Pisces, and Mithras is replaced with Yeshua and his story, who killed off his ego, became unconditionally loving of everyone, respecting children, and wanting the new generations and the new bloodlines to be cleansed of toxicity, because he developed I'm speaking of bloodlines and getting away from toxicity, and the 5 of Wands in reverse show up. Yeah, getting away from toxicity. toxicity, and we saw this yesterday with the Knight of Pentacles. So you have this toxicity that is pervasive in the age of Pisces, but Yeshua woke up to this and learned from probably teachings of early or teachings coming from the age of Aries that he picked up. Most likely he was a soul that incarnated in the age of Aries and probably all the other ages before that, so that he ascended in basically his 12th house, the age of Pisces. He developed a healthy ego. He basically was reborn, because this is what the Sun card represents. Yeah, it's the happiest card in the deck, but for what reason? You have this Sun, or this representing Source, shining in its beautiful rays down onto, again, a white horse. We saw the white horse in the Angel of Death card. And there's a naked baby. This is healing the inner child, regardless of your attachment style and narcissistic abuse and CPTSD and PTSD and SA and all of that nasty shit. This stuff, Jupiter and Leo, this just expansion of egoic fire energy in the reverse. He was a Nine of Pentacles. Yeshua was at some point before he ascended, because he had healed his own inner child. So that's all related to the Hangman in reverse. Hangman in reverse is a halting or a stalling of two things. It represents self-sacrifice. So in these psychotic energies, these dark energies that are constantly all up in yours, chosen ones, they're literally stuck in that process of no, I just heard that the divine is holding them in the same position, but in the upright, until they want to hang upside down again, where that blood is going to rush to their head, where they will receive enlightenment should they choose to sacrifice all that they're doing, all this dark magic shit. We have the Fool in reverse. We have the Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, they've stopped working on themselves. They have no more faith at all in this life. They've stopped working. Page of Cups, Piscean energy, here with the fish. This is a fish out of water. And then we have the Hierophant. Yesterday I described the Hierophant card as, for you chosen ones, card number 5, because we saw card number 6, the Lovers, come out yesterday. And I described the Lovers as, marrying the masculine and the feminine together. But before we get to the Lovers card, you have the Hierophant. This is you, chosen ones, and you know this to be true. You have a very personal relationship. It's like you have Yahweh on speed dial. And if at the very least, Archangel Michael on speed dial, and the whole 2/3 of the angels, and by now being chosen, you're well on your way to learning how to work with demon energy as well, which again, both angels and demons are a part of. They were created by Yahweh, and rather than, after their defeat of the fallen angels and Lucifer, rather than Yahweh destroying them and getting rid of them, he gave Lucifer a throne, and his minions, like Azazel, were tasked with bringing technology of death, guns and swords and knives, and technology of death to us down here, because there must be dark and light energy. You know this, light workers. You're well practiced, or if not well practiced, you are becoming well practiced in balancing out your dark and your light, or your feminine with your masculine. And again, it goes back to, I am my own twin flame. So any of you out there, you karmics, you false twin flames, you purveyors of black magic and dark magic, who do spells on your friends and family, and cowardly can't come out and live in the light and do this work. You have no. I'm thinking of the line. Who's the king of Rohan in Lord of the Rings trilogy? He's been under this spell of Gandalf goes to see him. So this would be in the Two Towers. He visits Rohan, and he's under this spell of his henchman, or his I don't know, his spiritualist, let's just say, his Hierophant. And he's like old and gray, and Gandalf starts doing his magic, and the leader of King of Rohan says something like, he starts laughing maniacally, just all up in that dark, shitty energy, that Two of Swords energy, that Seven of Cups energy that's been affecting him, and he with derision and evil starts laughing and says, "You have no power here," something like that. That just popped into mind. It's true. You'll still feel it, chosen ones, earth angels, and people who have been who have had cords of attachment to these darker entities. Just know that they have no power anymore over you, and that again, it was for a lesson, and many of you are choosing to be, for right now, your own twin flame. I feel that I'm choosing a soulmate in this incarnation, because or at least I'm keeping myself open to being surprised by the divine, so that if there is a true twin flame that we're meant to come together and be romantically linked, I want to be surprised. But for now, I am happy, I'm content, I'm foolish with being my own twin flame. And I think many of you can hopefully take this message and do the same for you right now, and remain open to what the divine is going to bring you, because it's all about faith in the end. So if there is a twin flame out there, and they've activated, and they choose to follow the same path you're on, trust that the divine will bring you together. And for those of you who have decided that twin flame, or maybe you've gotten downloads from your angels saying, they didn't quite muster up, and they chose a different path in this incarnation. It's all for the best. And just take the lessons and move on, because inevitably the divine will bring you a soulmate into your life, as long as you stay faithful. And I know you will, angels. Any last message? Let's see. Let me use this deck. How are we doing on time? A little bit longer than I would like. Maybe I'll do another reading after this of a different nature. It's 4:20 right now where I am. If you look up that angel number. And the channeled song is Free at Dawn by Small Black. All right. One last message, or a couple. Wow. Wow. Okay. All right, that's enough. Got the Ten of Swords, Gemini energy, Ego Death card, and the Karmic Wheel, the Wheel of Fortune. I didn't see any pop out, but in a previous reading, I was getting a lot of Gemini energy, and this darker energy that I was once bound to. This person that I kind of wanted to mentor and move them away from the life that they're living, which is they're a double Scorpio and Gemini rising. They're twisted and gross. This is you, of course. This is your dharma, and having the strength to go through many ego death processes with these people, and moving towards your dharma, in the path to your dharma, which is the Fool card. This is a path to the Wheel of Fortune spinning in your favor, in your direction, because you are Queen of Swords, the Empress, Queen of Wands, and the Fool. While we have here, interesting, we have the Star card. It fell out with the Queen of Cups in the upright over the Star card, kind of sideways, with the Seven of Pentacles, which appears twice again. Yesterday it appeared in the reading, and I just want to give a shout out to Jesse who informed me about the Marchetti deck and that symbol of Saturn, which appeared only on the Seven of Pentacles. Was apparently there are probably a couple, two or three, a few symbols for each of the planets that have, had their own evolution. And for some reason in that deck, the artist, the author, chose to use a different symbol for Saturn that differed from all the other symbols of Saturn that were consistent in that particular deck, but specific to the Seven of Pentacles. This is my inheritance card. This is my planting seeds. This is a Taurian energy. 7 and 11 are numbers of heaven, I always say. This is my ancestors card. This is bloodlines coming in. Because the Ten of Pentacles is the tree of life. In the traditional tarot, if you haven't noticed this, when you see it, it's very obvious. The Pentacles kind of seemingly randomly placed on the Ten of Pentacles card here in this deck. No, if you look at them and make the connections, they are the Kabbalah tree of life. It's going to be like the last one, isn't it, Spirit? It's always in the last place you look, right? Oh my goodness. Okay, near the last. Yeah, see? That's the tree of life. You have the first, second, third, I think they're called sephirots. Then you have 4, 5, 6, and then I think it, um, 7, 8, 9, but that's the 10th one. So yeah, the tree of life. So you have, this is ancestors to me, and you working with them. This is spiritual inheritance. This is also physical inheritance. So I think some of you might, you empaths out there, but this, because it's sort of sideways, this represents both the karmics and these darker water energies of a feminine nature. And the star was in the upright. Yeah, underneath. It's kind of like this. This is all you darker energies who are still practicing dark magic and coming after the chosen ones and earth angels. You have a choice. Some of you do. Some of you have already made your choice and, are working with the death card. But, this is, for those of you karmics who have a choice, you have a choice to heal and become the star, even at this late stage. You're going to have to pay lots of karma. You're going to, in order to have the wheel right itself and swing in the right direction. But you have your ancestors, your spirit guides to tap into, should you choose. It's all up to you, because this life is a choice in the end. You can choose to be a fool, or you can choose to be whatever you are. I've turned my back, and I honestly don't care if you're a twin or a false twin or soulmate or karmic anymore. You're dead to me, literally. And call me a fool. I'm going to end the reading here at 4:27. And I'm adapting and moving on while managing quite well. It's kind of like a fool character. I always see the two of Pentacles as being a court jester, or the fool in the court. I'm thinking King Lear, and if you know Shakespeare, you'll know that all the fools represented in the courts of the kings and queens that they work with or in, they were wise men, wise beings, kind of like Hierophant, who are always there, in the case of King Lear, to yes, be funny, but really shame the king when he steps out of line, and becomes a true fool. I always see this Two of Pentacles as being very, very capable, but appearing like an idiot. But this is you, chosen ones, who are balancing on one foot. All of this water energy and these rough seas are behind you. You're on land. Yeah, you're standing on one foot and you appear to be juggling, but this is the infinity symbol. This is, appears in both the Magician card and also the Strength card. And you don't appear to be losing your shit that you're going to drop either one of these. So you're sitting pretty or standing, balancing on one foot, but you're well grounded with all this red energy and orange energy and yellow energy, and you have green feet on. So you've got 4 chakras going quite well, and just continue to stay strong. There we are. The card of the moon. And we know as earth angels, we have a very close connection to Mother Moon or Sister Moon. And we're also well connected to our subconscious. And this allows us to weather any storms and really not only gain insight into what our karmics are doing so we can protect ourselves, but it's just a clear indicator that we're so freaking powerful. All we need to do is sit there. We're well balanced with Boaz and I can't remember, I don't know how to pronounce this name, but yeah, we're all sitting pretty, Earth Angels, while and we've moved away from any sort of mental anguish with the Six of Swords, and we're doing the work of our Creator and Source, and the work of the angels. There we are, star card. We're the stars, and these are our karmics. No longer celebrating, yet still working in concert. Their lives have been turned upside down that we've moved away, and their wheel of fortune is spinning in the wrong direction. They're overindulgent while we are drinking from 9 cups. They are over consuming, and they're drowning in all this Piscean energy and this Cancerian energy, very I just heard self-fulfilling prophecy. Everything that they wanted for you is now their life. They've manifested it. So I'm gonna end it here, and I hope to see you in the next reading. If you care to donate to the channel, it's never expected, but it's always appreciated, and I pray for you by speaking your name in my prayers, and wish that you return whatever you donate. You'll get a return of tenfold. If you're interested in any of my services, I'm an MBTI Certified Practitioner and an NLP Certified Practitioner, as well as a High Priest and Hierophant. And check out my website, Entpgathering.com. And what else? Even if it's just to talk, I'm thinking about maybe just doing a really inexpensive hour-long chat over the phone or Zoom. I'm going to add that to my website because I would like to get to know more of you, and I'll even throw some cards. So I think I'm going to run a end of the solar cycle or a special for Aquarius season, where I'll even throw some cards, but it'll just be great to connect to you all over the phone. In addition to, I'll continue producing readings here on YouTube. And thank you again for my new subscribers and all the likes and comments. Keep them coming. And I look forward to actually connecting with you in the comments section, and continue connecting to your energy in these readings. It's really been a great experience for me so far, and I'm relatively new, which just means that, collective, we're just growing, and it's up from here. I just want to thank you all too who have commented and shared your stories in the comments. I'd like to say 2 things about that. I love you for all the work that you're doing and for keeping the conversations very civil. There have been a couple of strange energies that I haven't learned to interpret or know if I ever will, and that's fine. But nobody's been, overtly negative at all. Far from that. And the second thing is it something that I learned and then put into practice, and it seemed to bolster my strength in my spiritual ascension was this. And this pertains to all social media. this isn't necessarily a warning, but something maybe you can take and consider. Everybody has free will. And like I said, none of the comments have been negative at all. I haven't sensed that the energy has been way off to this point, but be careful about how much you share about your timeline. Although many of us in the collective are on the same timeline, this is a multi-dimensional universe, and there are many, many, many timelines going on. Even within yours springs off, and there's just it's countless, right? Be careful about how much personal energy you put into your some of the longer comments describing your story. And I say this because I found that if you are still have a cord of attachment to these darker energies, trust they're watching at all your social media platforms, including all the comments you leave. And for these darker, shitty energies to read that you are expressing some of the pain, not all, like I said, it hasn't been to that degree yet, but I expect that as my channel grows and the collective grows stronger and the message become stronger too, that especially when we start breaking away from these karmic energies, that they're watching, and this bolsters their energy a little bit. It almost makes them want to continue remaining attached. So, High Priestess, sometimes it's best just just show your gratitude and express that with your guides, with your angels, with Yahweh directly, rather than putting it out on social media where for some of you are just spiritually ranked super high. So we're talking secret societies and government agencies, and some of you have been are being tracked. The CIA and the FBI know you as well, not simply because you're linked to some mafia and darker principalities that have been running the matrix. Sometimes it's best to say very little, but what you do speak on the channel that I've seen is really awesome, because I see you supporting other comments with liking, or maybe even replying to some of the other stories that people are going through, and generally, I just want to thank you for remaining of the light. So with that, I will move on. Six of Swords, and I'll see you in the next reading. Check out the description box for information on my channel, and I thank you for all the subscribes, the likes, the shares in advance. And again, until the next reading, I wish you all the best, and namaste.